Hello, Chloe.
Hello.
Hello again. Oh, it's fantastic to catch up with you. It's just an amazing, magical time
Mm,
in both our lives, and I just want to thank you for sharing some time today to share your experiences of engaging with the Higher Self Foundational Training. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
And so, very unlike me, I prepared some questions to ask so I don't forget all the important stuff. And yeah, I'll just get started and I'll try and keep them short and sweet. So excited to hear responses. Okay, so first question. Um, what were the reasons or challenges that you faced that made you want to join the Higher Self Foundational Training?
That's a good question. I think subconsciously and consciously for a few years now, actually, I have been getting constant nudges and signs and synchronicities and pushes that I have been choosing to ignore, telling me that it's time to deepen my devotion to my spiritual path. I'm
Mm,
kind of at that point in my life where, in order for me personally to move forward and expand and blossom, especially in my business, it's that time to really devote myself to my spiritual practices. And I think unless you are a really determined, well-trained human individual, it can be quite hard doing that on your own, right? Finding that discipline to be like, right, I'm going to meditate every day and I'm going to do this and these are my goals without getting distracted, you know? So I think I wanted to do that, and I am good, like I do my practices and I love self-care, but it was more having that devotional connected time. So that was really it, finding the structure and the guidance. Yeah, to get me into a rhythm. And I really just wanted to get back into the practice of meditating every day, because in my early 20s, when I had a big spiritual awakening, like the kaboom moment, I would meditate like twice a day. I was obsessed with it. And then you know how life goes. It goes up and down and distractions happen. So yeah, I think for a long time my soul has been craving to get back into that devotional practice.
wow. Oh, thank you for that. I really love it. And I took something, I don't know the exact number, but something like 4 years since my awakening in 2017 to have
Mm,
learned at least to be able to practice for myself the things I now teach in the Higher Self Foundational Training. And
yeah.
there's not like an experiment that shows, side by side comparisons, but that's my experience of the topics. And for anyone that hasn't seen the training, in the training we cover it's really meant for people at any stage in a development, including right from the very start. So we get started with mindfulness meditations and quickly go into my spirit guide meditations, which involve connecting to higher aspects of yourself and your spirit guides. We do quantum energy healing, clearing, negative entity removal, protection, and then we advance on to introducing you to your spirit guides, each one individually. We do some astral travel, astral projection, and light language, and a little bit of grid work too. So there's a lot. Although it's called foundational, I guess this is now the foundations of what are required for us as we continue to grow. Um, and in terms of the course content, so when you saw it for the first time, like the description on the website or me waffling on in a video about why you should join the training, um, what was it that appealed to you about the content?
Mm. I think it was what I was seeking was a connection to my spirit guides. So that was really what I was seeking. And hearing some of your testimonials from clients saying that, even within the 8 weeks of the foundational training, some of them have been able to have that connection and draw their guides and have that connection. So I think that's what drawed me in the most. I quite like to enter into something not knowing everything about what is going to be in it, but it was
Mm,
your energy and your enthusiasm, because you and I have been in contact for quite a few years now,
Yeah.
back and forth on social media, and just seeing your journey, and then just seeing, you know, your enthusiasm and the childlike quality as well, which is something that I really resonate with. But yeah, it was mainly um just the purpose of the course for me being able to get contact with my spirit guides, which was something which I feel like subconsciously I was looking for, but I didn't realize it. And then I saw your course and I just thought, perfect, I can do this from home in the summertime, which is a quiet time for me. And it was just kind of the right timing and the right space for me to be able to dedicate the time to it and commit to meditating every day and doing the homework. So it was a combination of hearing people's testimonials and also just being the right place and the right time. So I was like,
Yay.
well, there's nothing stopping me.
That's
It was
right.
one of those moments.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And yeah, it is incredible. I I go through these funny emotions when I'm teaching people how to connect with their spirit guides because there's quite a lot of preparation, right? Like it's quite a lot of work.
Mhm.
You're doing a meditation practice, you're learning like some of the basics about connecting with the source of love of this universe, and then you're learning how to for the first time work with quantum energy healing for many. But within 5, 6 weeks you get to talk to your
Mhm.
spirit guides, and for many, yeah, it's really common that they really want to have a one-to-one connection, and not just like spirits,
Yeah.
talk to the spirit. Oh, what are the spirits saying today? But to actually do it in a safe way and to trust, like in the first chat that we had, just as you're getting started in the course, that it's a way of you being able to introduce yourself and for your guides to introduce themselves to you, and that you feel like you're giving yourself the best possible chance of being able to um,
Mhm.
receive, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard, it's really hard, and if you've not done some preparation and start to trust and believe and surrender to everyone's unique ways of connecting with their guides, then it is quite hard. But yeah, I love that. And I don't offer a guarantee you will like connect with your
No.
spirit guides. But I would say almost everyone does, and if they don't connect in the course itself really quickly afterwards, or they're doing it in, a little bit later, uh like a couple of weeks later during the course itself. So because you can just go back and watch the replay and just do it again
Mhm.
and do it in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Um, oh, thank you for that. Um, so now that maybe you've answered this already, now that you've completed the training, what did you love most about it?
Hmm. That's hard. I loved all the calls. I made it to all the live calls, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah. I loved all the calls, and I think it really serves us as humans to hold ourselves accountable and show up, for when we're learning things like that. And it was really lovely to share the meditations with the group as well, because there was always at least two of us there on the
Mhm.
call, if not more. Sometimes there was all five of us, which was beautiful. Yeah, and just to really feel the power and how beautiful it was for all of us to experience those quite powerful quantum meditations and journeys together as a group. So I think that was really the magic of it for me, because sometimes when we are going really deep into this spiritual stuff, if we are, say, doing it one on one, it can feel quite intimidating, and we could experience more blocks or, more discernment. But as a group, it really felt like we were all there together on this spiritual quest, all as a little team. So I think that was just my favorite part, the fact that it was a group container, and it was just
Mhm.
really beautiful, whether we were there in the live or not, just knowing that we were all going on this journey together, and then in the last call just having some fun. So that's my favorite. That was my favorite part.
Oh, fabulous, thank you. Yeah, I love the the smaller classes and be able to connect with people
Mm.
and see, like, to witness in more depth people's journeys and also just offer assistance whenever it's needed. So you're not just on, the end of a Zoom call with hundreds of people there, like they're small handfuls of
Yeah,
people. And yeah, you go on a journey together. I notice that with every class I do, that they're, strangers to begin with, and then very quickly you begin to come together as a class and as a team. Um, Beautiful. And maybe this is even harder, I hope. What do you feel could be improved about the training?
yeah. I loved the training, and I think the course was really well paced. Really, I loved the homework. The only thing that was just difficult for me, because I'm not very techy, was just like the layout of having to log in and get into the course, and like the little comment boxes that you write in was just like one sentence. So it's just really like picky things for
Okay.
me.
And did you use the website or the app
I
or
tried
both?
both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, well, thanks for that. I'll
Yeah.
I'll definitely give that some
It's
thought.
not really like anything important, but it was just,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just longer to log in, and it was a bit fiddly, but
Hmm.
it didn't stop me from doing the course, if that makes
Great.
sense.
That's good. Well,
I
thank you
know
for
how difficult like
that.
whips and stuff is, and yeah, it takes.
Yeah, it takes some time. It's always improving. But yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. Um, And what are the key lessons that you've learned from the training that you are already or you plan to take forwards?
So, okay, there's a few things. The first one that I'm really grateful for you for is that this training has helped me to trust my own visions and the own thoughts and intuitions and words that come in, because I think we live in a world that makes us doubt ourselves, that makes us feel paranoid and anxious. And that's always something that I've struggled with my whole life. But I've always been a very creative and imaginative person. And it's always been this battle of, is it my imagination, or is it a memory, or is it a download? But then it's like, well, hang on a minute, where does the imagination come from? Right? It comes from memories, and it comes from an expanded state of consciousness. And it's like, that makes sense. So yeah, I've really learned to trust myself more and not question if something like an image or a thought or an idea or a memory comes in that seems really wild and out there. Not to question it, but just to know, hold it sovereign as my truth, but obviously with discernment as well, knowing if something feels right in my heart or not. So that's a big thing. And then another lesson that I've learned is the importance of protection, like energy protection.
Mhm.
And that's something I've been using in my work, in my meditation, and like before and after being with my clients, is just setting this protective space and just being more disciplined with setting prayers, and my desires. Yeah, so that's been really helpful, and the energy clearing too, just the importance of all of that, really just being devoted to this work and not underestimating how powerful it is.
Wow. Thank you.
Mm.
I heard this beautiful term. I was doing an in-person group session on Sunday about imagination being it's like a canvas
Mhm.
for higher aspects of ourselves and for our guides and other beings that we safely invite into that space. And I love that kind of mental model because it helps.
Mhm.
Like I love that you really embraced this challenge of like how do you surrender but do it safely?
Mhm.
How do you trust that you can kind of open this safe space to receive and yet not be distracted or have things that could in any way harm you come into that space. Um, and so yeah, that's fantastic. And yeah, absolutely the energy protection, it's just so important, right? It's just in every you
Mhm.
see me do it in every single thing I do, and I do it every day, and I do it with clients, and I do it on my live streams, which are even higher risk because you bring in many more people and energies. And it just doing it through the power of intention, it creates this lovely feeling, right? Like you feel like I own this space, I created it, and I invite in whoever serves me and my clients or whoever I'm with. It serves everyone's highest good. So well done for that. It's lovely to hear that you're taking them forwards. And have you incorporated any of these practices into your business, into your service offerings?
Yeah, like I said, always now I'll do protection, like a prayer for protection and setting a safe space. Yeah, I mean, I was already doing energy clearing with my clients, but
Mhm.
doing it with you and experiencing in that way has made me feel a little bit more confident with it too. So I've been using that. Yeah.
Fabulous. Fantastic. And yeah, I would, for anyone interested in the course, I mean, if they've made it this far, they probably are.
Yeah.
But it's certainly what I teach. I'm keen for people to use and develop themselves. And a big part of the course for me is just a lot like supporting people on their journey so that they can, do all these things themselves. It's not, and I don't want them to have to feel like they have to constantly ask me for permission to do something. Once you've learned how to do it yourself, go and do it yourself and teach it and do whatever you want with your services. So yeah, really, really exciting to hear uh, that you're doing that. Um, and so after the Higher Self Foundational Training, there's a new course, and it's just completed with its first class, which is the Higher Self Intermediate Training with my extremely glamorous marketing terminology. Um, and the foundational training is all about, really, as you said, like that challenge you faced of deepening your own practice, um, and then broadening out to do things like connecting with spirit guides and learn about energy work. The intermediate training is much more practitioner focused, so it's more about empowering people to be able to do these things that we've just mentioned, but a lot more as well. We cover new subjects as well as deepening the existing ones, and some of those new ones include the class really loved, which surprised me, the working with ley lines, the planetary grids,
Mm.
sacred sites, clearing homes, cord cutting, um, and then we also went into like working with different galactic races and understanding their light languages and differences in energy. And there's a lot more. And I was interested in your thoughts because you'd said you might be interested in that training course. What interests you about the next step after the foundational course?
Everything.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all like parallel to the course I did with you. I've been working with another friend of mine, going a lot more deep into the galactic and cosmic side of things. So it's definitely a path that I'm going down and I want to bring into my business and the practices that I do, but also in a safe way. And
Mhm.
that's what I really liked about your course is we learn the practical side of things, but then the really fun esoteric side as well, but brought together in a very safe way. So yeah, I'll just be really excited to go deeper and learn more and learn how to do it myself and to hold the space, but with integrity and safety. So yeah,
Amazing.
just everything. Everything sounds great. But I definitely need time. I think it's good to have the space now so I can integrate and continue meditating, which I have. And yeah, just see what comes through.
Fabulous. And that was, I
Mm.
remembered right at the start of the training, I said, if there's one thing you remember to
Mm.
do and to learn in this training is to like to develop your own practice, like to have a daily practice.
Mhm.
And that's fabulous to hear. I remember in our last chat you spoke about you're asking questions like some of my, guides seem a bit like they're maybe Star Wars characters or the similarities. And I really love that. I love the galactic aspect, and it's really fascinating because in some respects, if you're a fantasy, sci-fi, you know movie or book enthusiast, like some of these things are in your consciousness, but they're often in like a higher aspect. It's like in a creative, far more interesting aspect of your brain. And it's not surprising that when we start to meet beings from other planets and other dimensions, that they start to arrive in a similar space, and it's where lots of us humans are creating from, right? We're like, oh, you could definitely make movies about these.
Yeah.
Um, and what was the final thing I was going to say? Um, yeah, the point you made about space, which is it's a fantastic, like I love teaching the course. 2 months, eight weeks of Zoom calls, 1 hour each week, plus some homework time. And one thing, since I've been starting my own business, I noticed that, part of me had this desire to like run the course as many times as possible. But I do see for people that, and for me as well, is that there needs to be time in between the courses. And my feeling, the feedback I'm getting is like at least like 2, 3 months, and quite possibly more, because when you try and meet that challenge that you said at the beginning, like I want to deepen my practice, I want to learn more. it it's not the doing in like a Zoom call and doing in a daily practice during those 2 months. It's the integration happens as you begin to
Mhm.
start to, I describe it like integration as like a knowing, things that were potential knowings to you and maybe beliefs to you, you start to practice and do, and you start to get your own feedback about them. And you're like, yeah, this is a knowing, or these parts of what was taught to me and I experienced, these are now knowings to me. And yeah, it definitely takes time to go through that. And I loved it because you said to me, I think originally I was like, I need to like run this intermediate training really fast, quite quickly after. And you said, I'd like to do some integration next. And yeah, so the next one is January, which is a lovely, lovely timing. Um, and yeah, it really helps me reflect on the pace that I run all my courses. Um, and I've already created the advanced course, but I'm not going to mention that yet because that's too much for 30 minutes. But yeah, I want to thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing your experience and your time. Um, and I'm just so proud of how you connected with the work, because it was absolutely my intention that people would connect with it and just, you know, bring it into their world, not just leave it as that was interesting for 2 months, but it doesn't quite fit. And the fact that you're doing some and actually quite a lot of what's being taught in your day-to-day work in your business is both inspiring and just really lovely to witness. Um, so before I stop talking, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Just want to say thank you. Thank you for holding these spaces because you are inspiring. You're very hardworking and very determined, and I love that about you. But you do it in such a heartfelt way. And yeah, we need leaders like you. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, and I just love your honesty and integrity as well. So thank you,
Oh,
John.
thank you so much.
It's a
So,
pleasure to be on this journey, this crazy earth journey with you.
thank you. Greatly appreciated. I really appreciate your kind comments and all your love and support. And so, yeah, thank you. If someone's made it to the end of this video, well done. And we're delighted to share this with you. You can visit johnbinney.com, and I'll also include Chloe's details as well if you're interested in her services. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Chloe. Hope you
Thank
have a
you.
great rest of week. Thank you. Take care. Send
Bye.
it love.